What does it look like to age with grace and humility? If this is a question you've been wondering, don't worry, you're not alone, because it's a question I've been wondering a lot about too. Fortunately though, I have a friend who's living the answer to that question as we speak.
In this video, you're going to meet my friend Carlos and learn how he's managed to find fulfillment and satisfaction after retiring in his early 50s. I'm going to show you how he's living the latter years of his life on his own terms in Colombia and share with you some lessons about aging gracefully I took away from my last visit with him. Carlos is a friend of mine who I met while traveling in Costa Rica back in 2017. Since getting to know him over the years, I've come to admire Carlos for his approach to life. He's someone who, I mentioned earlier, managed to retire early, but not in the sexy or trendy ways people seem to talk about wealth accumulation these days. Carlos reached early retirement the old-fashioned way, working a 9-to-5 job at a phone company in Los Angeles for 3 decades.
I guess I've seen through my life, especially at work, where I've seen the different stages, because I worked 32 years at AT&T. I started out as the youngest person and ended up being people that I could have been their dad. And I've seen the different levels, older people going, some injured, some forced, couldn't retire. They had to work till they're 70, sick as heck, but they had to wait to get their full retirement or their full Social Security. I just had a different vision. Part of it is because when my dad passed at 62, he only retired for a year, and I was 30-something. And when I first started the phone company, the first thing Willie, the secretary, told me, start putting money away for your retirement. You can retire 30 years. In 2008, you can retire. This was 1978. That's a long time. But I just kept that and just subconsciously always put the money out for it without, it's just part of my check. It's something I had the opportunity to retire, and I added extra to the retirement.
These days, Carlos is enjoying his retirement traveling the world, but mostly living his days in Colombia.
This is $1. It's heavy. It's like a pound.
A pound is 4,500. So that's almost $2 a kilo.
$2 a kilo. Oh wow.
What does it do? It removes the stress of your older life having to struggle. And that's a fine point of retirement, where I don't really have to struggle and worry about it. Things can happen tomorrow, but if I can just flow to today, and if you can de-stress, you're going to make better decisions in your life.
It had been a few years since I last saw Carlos, so it was nice to catch up with him at the finca he's currently living at with his partner Carmenza.
When was this place built?
Corazón, ¿cuántos años tiene esta casa?
Tiene 15 años.
And
15 años. Oh, okay.
She's the designer. She saw the book. Ella vio en un libro, ¿cierto? El diseño.
Sí.
And it was her idea.
Oh, okay. Nice.
This is west. This is selling over Medellin proper. Sunset.
Is that part of your property too?
Yeah, they just built that.
What is that? Is that like another like guest house or something?
Yeah, that's actually where Carmenza's father is staying right now.
Oh, okay.
He just started staying there recently.
It's pretty quiet though here, no?
It has its moments when it's quiet. There's times when it's not. I mean, the weekends people tend to party up a little bit. But
yeah.
It's got its charm. A lot of dogs and a lot of exotic birds. That parrot just showed up a couple weeks ago.
That's amazing. That's like I was like telling you earlier that type of bird. You go to a pet store in the U.S. and pay like how many, like a couple $100.
I don't know, but he was in the living room.
It was in the living room.
Where Carmenza's at. Estoy diciendo la historia del pajarito. He was right there. And I picked her up, and here she is. Hello. She was domestic. She wasn't scared from me because I kind of want to stick my hand in there. Hi. We left her out all day today.
And then even like these dogs, these are
all street dogs. Carmenza's daughter found them on the street, saw a couple days wandering around, picked them up. They all have a story. Carmenza has more details on the stories. Cats, same way. Me, also.
As I mentioned earlier, Carlos is a friend who I look up to for his approach to life. Every time I've hung out with Carlos, he's always constantly dropping little nuggets of knowledge around what it means to live a good life, especially as it pertains to aging. So, as promised, I thought I'd share some of those bits of wisdom with you right now. Carlos has this saying that he often repeated to himself throughout his 30 years of working at the phone company.
If I didn't buy my island at 50, I'm done. That was my goal for retirement. As far as I got, 50. Okay, well, I didn't get there. Well, this is where I'm going to go.
I think for Carlos, 50 was this point in life where you realize you're not getting any younger and that it's time to start enjoying what you've worked for, if you haven't already. Otherwise, you might miss out.
A perfect example, that house in front of us, there are two Colombians. They retired from the States. They worked in the States. They retired, built the place. The place is a museum. I mean, they have $1,000 pieces, maybe hundreds of them in the house. And now she has dementia. They worked her asses off and got to a point where they bought all this, and now she's bedridden. It's sad.
Can't enjoy it.
No, and the house is amazing. You go in the house like, wow. You can tell this woman had taste. They had money. Everything porcelain, beautiful china pieces, porcelain. I mean, I'm talking about hundreds of them. So that's a reality check.
Unless you're Benjamin Button, getting older is inevitable.
You don't think you get to a certain age, but you get to it.
Carlos reminded me that aging is a whole lot harder when you're resisting rather than accepting what's going to happen. And that there are consequences when you think this way too.
What happens, we live for the moment a lot. A lot of people live for the moment. Well, I'm going to enjoy this now. I'll charge it. Then they get into debt. And to cover up their issues with debt, they'll charge you into another trip. So they'll just build over and over.
Back in the 90s, while Carlos was working for the phone company, he had one customer who happened to work for the LA coroner's office. Curious, Carlos decided to ask him about the most common cause of death he saw in his line of work.
He says, old guys falling off of roofs. So what's he saying? People that did things all their life as young and they think they can still do it. Climb roofs, climb on ladders, and that one slip. 8 feet, I think what's 8 feet falls, considered traumatic, breaking their necks. So know your limits physically. Find that limit. Get there before you get to that point, before you get that injury. You know, say, oh yeah, I better not do that. You know, I know if I had to run for my life, if a lion was chasing me, I'd run balls out, obviously. But if I don't have to, I don't. If I don't have to pick up that ball, Carmen said that's the good thing about having a partner. Tell you, Carlos, don't be doing that. You should don't pick that up. Be careful. The other day I fell out of the bed. I had a big bruise. This thing knotted up.
Really?
Yeah.
So that's why that is black there.
And it's actually swollen. It's gone down. I went to emergency, had x-rays, everything's fine. I just fell out of the bed. So any simple things can be like that.
It is so easy these days to get pulled in and out of the present moment. One minute we're worried about the future and what it holds. The next we're dwelling on the past and what could have been. Let me give you an example. If you've ever traveled a ton and you meet other people on the road, a common question you'll hear is about the places you've been and the places you're going. When Carlos gets asked about this, he prefers to focus on the place he is right now.
What's your favorite spot you've been? Well, at the moment where I'm at now, because just be honest, it can't get any better. Yeah, I got a kick out when I first saw the Mona Lisa, when we saw Statue of David. So yeah, those were magical moments, but that's history now. What's really important is the very moment. That's the best. Yeah, I'm not sitting and getting ready to roll into the operating room to whatever. I'm not doing bad. You can't relive the past. You learn from the past, you enjoy the past, you learn your mistakes, and you know what you like.
You know, Carlos often jokes with me because I've traveled so much that he wants to be me when he grows up. But truthfully, I hope I can be a lot like him when I get to his age. Because Carlos is a reminder that a simple plan, executed consistently over years, can lead to a pretty fulfilling life.
I always said, I wouldn't want to win $1 billion or $1 million lottery. I wouldn't know what to do with it. It would change my life negatively. Because now I can buy what I want. So where's happiness if I can buy it? Happiness is when you can earn it and live off the fruits of what you did.
Hey, thanks so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, I'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment down below with which piece of Carlos's wisdom was most valuable and useful for you. And if you're new around here, I'm John Santiago. I am the creator behind World of Nuance. I would love for you to join this community that I am building, and you can do that by hitting the subscribe button. Once again, thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.